Stop what you're doing. Seriously. Just for 30 seconds. Because this could completely change the way you see your entire existence. Have you ever had the nagging feeling that something is missing? Like a crucial piece of the puzzle of your life, your purpose, and who you really are was left out of the instruction manual. It's as if someone ripped a vital page out of the book of your soul. Well, it turns out you were right. Over 1,200 years ago, a manuscript was written that supposedly held humanity's most profound secret. And this wasn't just misplaced or lost to time. It was intentionally erased from history, not by accident, but because it contains a power that some people would rather you never discover. It's the knowledge of what your soul was actually doing before you were even born. And today, that knowledge is resurfacing. The book, which only a few dare to even mention, is called the Codex Animae. In Latin, that translates to the Book of the Soul. It was written by a secret order of mystics, and it's said to contain the literal maps of the soul's journey before life, during it, and after. It reveals secrets that religions and governments have allegedly hidden for centuries. To keep control over the masses, each stage it describes reveals a piece of who you are. A piece of the puzzle that you were programmed to forget. Imagine, just for a moment, knowing with absolute clarity why you were born into your specific family, with this specific body. At this exact moment in history, imagine understanding your biggest challenges, your deepest heartaches, not as random cruelty, but as part of a much bigger plan, a plan that you chose before you ever set foot in this world. Now, we're not talking about some fluffy, modern New Age theory. We're talking about an ancient map of the soul, guarded for centuries and passed down only to a select few, far from the prying eyes of the world. If you can access this knowledge, your life will never look the same again. You'll finally understand that nothing, absolutely nothing, happens by chance. Every single person who crosses your path is there for a reason. Every obstacle is a hidden stepping stone to something greater. And most importantly, you will realize that there are no victims in this universe. You are, and you have always been, the architect of your own journey. Realizing this is the first step to breaking free from the chains of helplessness, guilt, and fear, and finally taking command of your existence. The grand design before you were born. How many times have you looked at your life, at the world around you, and just thought, why? Why am I here? What is the point of all this? Most of us go through life feeling like we're passengers on a runaway train. Things just happen to us. People come and go. Challenges pop up. We get knocked down, and it all seems so far beyond our control. That feeling of emptiness, of being aimless, isn't an accident. It has a side effect of having forgotten who we truly are and what we came here to accomplish. But what if I told you that before you were even a twinkle in your parents' eyes, you knew exactly why every single step of your life would unfold the way it has? According to this forbidden book, the Codex Animae, before your soul incarnates, it goes through an incredibly profound and detailed preparation process. You, as a free and sovereign consciousness, chose it all. You chose your parents. You chose your physical body. You chose the specific challenges you knew you'd face and the missions you would try to carry out. All of this was decided in a state of total clarity and wisdom, a state without fear or doubt. Your soul knew that every single experience, even the most painful ones, would be absolutely essential for your evolution. Think about it like this. Gold can only be purified in the hottest fire. In the same way, your soul knew that only by going through real, raw, human experiences could it truly expand its light. And here's the most incredible part. You weren't alone in this planning session. You were guided and assisted by beings of pure light, spiritual masters, loving counselors, and wise guides who helped you design the perfect life curriculum for your soul's growth. When you start to grasp that nothing is a coincidence, your entire perspective on life shifts. Pain is no longer a punishment. It becomes a training exercise. Losses are no longer punishments. They are opportunities to make space for something new and better. Difficulties stop being unbearable burdens. They become the keys you need to unlock the next level of your own journey. This awareness has the power to transform your suffering into strength, your fear into wisdom, and your doubt into unshakable faith. So, just for a second, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and ask yourself if any of this resonates deep within you, like an ancient whisper you can barely hear. If the answer is yes, then you are ready to remember. Let's dive into the 7 sacred stages your soul goes through before you are born. According to the Codex Animae, before incarnation, your soul passes through these 7 stages. Think of them as the backstage of existence, where all the prep work happens. Each stage has a very specific purpose, and each one shapes who you are today. Knowing this process is like finally getting your map back, the map that was taken from you the moment you were born. Stage 1. The call of universal consciousness. So many of us walk through life with this quiet, almost imperceptible feeling of longing. It's a yearning for something we can't quite name, a sense that something is missing, even when, on paper, our life looks pretty good. This feeling isn't your imagination. It's a faint echo of the very first stage of the soul's journey, the call. According to the Codex Animae, it all begins when the universal consciousness, the great, beating heart of all existence, sends out a call. This isn't an order or a demand. It's a loving invitation, a silent music that ripples across dimensions and reaches your soul, wherever it may be resting. When your soul hears this call, it remembers. It remembers that it's time to evolve again, time to dive into a new experience, time to return to the sacred game of physical life. At that moment, you, as a free soul, are given the ultimate choice: accept the call or decline. And believe me, if you are here, listening to these words right now, it's because somewhere, a long, long time ago, you said yes. You chose to come back. You chose to live, to feel, to love, to grow, to make mistakes, and to start all over again. Even now, while you're here in a physical body, the call continues to echo. You hear it in moments of profound silence. You see it in the sparkle of a child's eyes. You feel it in the overwhelming beauty of a sunset that brings tears to your eyes. For no apparent reason, it's that inner restlessness that pushes you to seek answers that society never gave you. Recognizing this call is the first step. It's acknowledging that you are so much more than just a body. It's accepting that your existence has a purpose for greater than just working, paying bills, and going through the motions. When you start to consciously listen for this call, your life begins to change. You start searching for more meaning in your choices. You feel a deep urge to align your actions with the truth of your soul. You start to remember, even if you don't know how you know. If this call is vibrating within you right now, understand this: you are ready to remember what you were made to forget. Stage 2. The life review. Do you carry around guilt? Do you have regrets that seem to weigh you down, holding you back from being truly happy? How often do you find yourself thinking, if only I had done that differently? If only I had said what I was really feeling. If only I could go back and fix it. Most of us live our lives trapped by these invisible chains. We're paralyzed by regrets from the past, burdened by guilt over mistakes that feel unforgivable. And yet, deep down, we sense that all of it has to be part of something bigger. But what if I told you that before you were even born, your soul had already reviewed all of this and more in a single, profound experience of pure consciousness? The second stage of the soul's journey, according to the Codex Animae, is the life review. Before diving into a new body, your soul is invited to revisit everything it has ever experienced in its past existences. But this review is completely different from any kind of human judgment. There's no angry, punitive God pointing a finger. There is no shame. There is no condemnation. There is only consciousness and love. You experience, from a first-person perspective, every single act you ever performed, and you feel the exact impact it had on others. If you hurt someone, you feel that person's pain as if it were your own. If you healed someone, you feel their joy wash over you. If you inspired someone, you feel that person's soul expand. The life review is the ultimate lesson in empathy and cosmic responsibility. Its purpose isn't to punish you, but to teach you so that you can grow, evolve, and do better next time. Knowing that your soul has already gone through this process completely changes how you can deal with your own mistakes and regrets right now. You can start to understand that mistakes aren't the end of the road. They are tools for learning. Guilt is a prison you build for yourself, but consciousness is liberation. Forgiveness isn't a favor you do for other people. It's a gift you give to your own soul. From this place of understanding, you can begin to live with more lightness, more compassion for yourself and others, and more responsibility for your actions moving forward. And the beautiful part is, you can, at any moment, change the impact you're creating. You can do your own life review right now, while you still have time to change what needs to be changed. Just close your eyes and ask yourself, if I had to review my life right now, today, what would I want to change? What impact am I leaving on the people who cross my path? What mark do I want to engrave on the eternity of my soul? This awareness isn't a burden, it's a gift. Stage 3. The Council of Souls. Do you ever feel like you're standing at a massive crossroads in your life, with countless paths stretching out before you, and you have absolutely no idea which one to take? You need to make a huge decision, but you don't know who to turn to. It's a feeling of being completely and utterly alone in your choices. But what if I told you that you have never, not for 1 second, been alone in this? What if there is an invisible, loving, and profoundly wise force that has been guiding you since long before you were born? In the third stage of the soul's journey, as revealed in the Codex Animae, you meet the beings who have walked beside you since before your very first breath. This is the Council of Souls. After your life review is complete, your soul is gently guided to a sacred space, a plane of existence made of pure light and consciousness. Imagine a silent chamber, vibrating with an unconditional love so powerful it would bring you to your knees, gathered around. You are beings of light. They are ancient, compassionate, and immensely wise. They know you better than you know yourself. They remember every single one of your journeys, all your struggles, and all your victories. These beings don't judge you. They welcome you home together in this sacred council. You analyze the lessons your soul still wishes to learn. You look at the wounds that still need healing and the unique gifts and abilities your soul is yearning to develop. It is right here, in this council, that the blueprint for your next life begins to take shape. You discuss which specific challenges you will choose to face to promote the most growth. You talk about which other souls you will meet along the way. Some will be your greatest allies and teachers, while others will agree to play the role of your opponents to test your strength. You outline the great mission your soul will seek to fulfill this time around. And here's the crucial part. You are an active participant in this planning. Nothing is forced upon you. You choose. With full awareness and consent, knowing that every piece of the plan is designed for your highest good. Understanding that you have always had a loving, spiritual team by your side completely transforms your perception of life. You start to realize that those strong gut feelings, those powerful intuitions, aren't just random thoughts. They are messages and signs being sent by your counsel. Those incredibly vivid dreams, the chance encounters with people who change your life, even the most difficult pains you endure, they can all be parts of the plan you co-created with love. And what's more, you can reconnect with your counsel even now, while you're here, through sincere meditation, through prayer that comes from the heart, or just by sitting in deep, intentional silence. You can learn to hear these ancient, loving voices again. You can ask for clarity. You can ask for strength. You can ask for guidance, and they will answer. Stage 4. The choice of life purpose. Do your days sometimes just blur into one another? Do you have dreams you once held dear that now seem impossibly distant? Do you carry a persistent feeling that you were born for something more, but you still haven't figured out what that something is? That feeling of emptiness isn't a sign that you failed. It's a signal. It's your soul remembering that it chose a specific mission. A mission you have forgotten since you crossed the veil into this physical existence. After reviewing your past lives and co-creating your life plan with the Council of Souls comes what might be the most sacred moment of all, the choice of your life purpose. According to the Codex Animae, a soul never, ever incarnates without a mission. It doesn't just show up for no reason, with absolute clarity and love. It chooses what its great lesson, its great transformation, or its great impact will be in its upcoming existence. This purpose can manifest in an infinite number of ways. For some, the purpose is to heal broken relationships from past lives, finally learning the lesson of forgiveness. For others, it might be to master the art of compassion or to develop unshakable courage in the face of fear. Some souls choose to come here to inspire and awaken other souls from their slumber. Others come to bring new talents, art, music, or wisdom into the world. Every single purpose is unique, and every single mission is irreplaceable. And here is the most important thing to remember. Your soul never chooses a purpose that is impossible for you to fulfill. You are born with every single thing you need already inside you to accomplish what you set out to do. The tools, the talents, the resilience is all there, packed into your spiritual DNA. So, how do you start to remember this purpose? The first key is to pay close attention to what deeply and genuinely touches your soul. Ask yourself these questions. What kinds of activities awaken my passion and give me energy? What problems in the world stir something in me and make me want to help find a solution? If money were no object, what would I do with my time? Simply for the joy of doing it. Your purpose is hidden in the answers to these simple questions. It's not something out there that you have to find like a lost treasure. It's already pulsing inside your heart, like a quiet flame just waiting for you to fan it. Furthermore, the challenges that tend to repeat themselves over and over in your life are also precious clues. Your greatest pains often carry the seeds of your greatest purpose. The thing that hurt you the most in your past may be the exact thing you came here to heal. Not just in yourself, but in others as well. When you begin to see your life not as a series of random events, but as a trail of clues, leading back to your soul's true north, everything changes. The feeling of being lost begins to fade, replaced by the quiet, confident hum of a soul that is finally remembering its way home. Stage 5. The choice of body and family. Many people are taught to believe that birth is basically a random lottery. You just pop into existence in some random family, in a random body, in a random place on the globe, and you have to make the best of the hand you were dealt. But the Codex Animae reveals something entirely different and infinitely more profound. You chose all of it. Before you incarnated, your soul, in a state of full and complete consciousness, was shown a variety of different possibilities. It could see different potential bodies, different family lineages, and different social and historical environments, and from all of those options, your soul meticulously chose the exact set of circumstances that would best serve its chosen life. Purpose. Now, I know this idea can be extremely difficult to accept. It might even sound cruel, especially when we look at lives filled with unimaginable pain, abandonment, poverty, or abuse. It seems absolutely absurd to imagine that any being would consciously choose to go through that kind of suffering. But we have to remember, your soul does not think like your human ego. Your soul sees the bigger picture. It doesn't see difficulty as something to be avoided at all costs. It sees difficulty as a powerful tool. It sees every challenge as a catalyst for awakening. Your soul doesn't choose the easiest path. It chooses the most effective path for its own evolution. You didn't choose your parents based on their personalities or their financial status. You chose them for the invisible, energetic lessons they carried. Perhaps you chose them to finally learn the meaning of unconditional forgiveness. Perhaps you chose them to be the one who finally breaks a cycle of pain that has been repeating in that family line for generations. Perhaps you chose them because their specific challenges would force you to develop a level of strength and resilience you couldn't have achieved any other way. The same goes for your body. You chose its physical characteristics, its genetic predispositions, its potential limitations, and its natural gifts. You chose them because they would be the perfect vehicle for the specific challenges and achievements you set out for yourself. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing about your life starting point was a mistake. When you can begin to truly absorb this, you start to look at your personal history with entirely new eyes. The pain in your story ceases to be a random injustice and starts to become a clue to your purpose. The resentment you might hold toward your parents or the environment you grew up in can begin to dissolve into a deep, compassionate understanding. You start to realize that the souls who have challenged you the most here on earth are often the very ones who loved you the most in the spiritual plane. They were the brave souls who agreed to play the difficult roles in your story so that you could have the chance to grow. The real transformation happens right here. When you honor the choices your soul made, you unlock the true power that has been dormant within you. Instead of feeling like a victim of your circumstances, you recognize yourself for what you are, a free and courageous being who accepted the most difficult and rewarding mission of all to live, learn, and evolve through the human experience. Stage 6. The Veil of Forgetfulness. After choosing your mission, your body, and your family, your soul arrives at the most delicate and crucial moment of the entire pre-birth journey, crossing the Veil of Forgetfulness. In the spiritual realm, your soul knows everything. It remembers all of its past lives. It understands the intricate purpose behind every single existence. It feels its unbreakable unity with all that is. But for the human experience to be truly real, truly intense, and truly transformative, it is absolutely necessary to forget. It's necessary to be born without those memories, to start with what feels like a blank page. The Codex Animae describes this moment as a silent crossing, like passing through a portal made of glowing mist. As your soul passes through, it agrees to leave behind all of its conscious awareness of these eternal truths. And this is not a punishment. It's not a curse. It is a fundamental and necessary part of the plan that you, yourself, chose. Imagine trying to play a video game where you already know all the cheats, all the secret levels, and how every boss is defeated. Where would the excitement be? Where would the growth be? There would be no challenge, no thrill of discovery. Uncertainty, mystery, doubt, and even pain are all part of what makes the game of life so rich and meaningful. The veil is what makes the game real. It's what allows you to learn how to love even in the darkness, to learn how to trust in the invisible, and to find your own way even when you don't have a map. This is why you don't consciously remember the Council of Souls. It's why you can't recall choosing your parents. It's why you so often feel lost and disconnected. The veil was lovingly placed so that every step you took, every choice you made, would be completely authentic. But here's the beautiful secret. The veil is not perfect. It's not a solid brick wall. It's more like a thin, permeable fabric. And in some places, it's thinner than others. In your dreams, in your strongest intuitions, in moments of deep silence and meditation, you can feel the echoes of your true origin. You feel that strange sense of homesickness for a place you can't name. You feel that deep, yet knowing that there is something more waiting just beyond what your five senses can perceive. That longing, that endless search for meaning, is your soul itself, trying to gently pierce the veil. It's you, trying to remember yourself. And the most beautiful thing of all is that you can begin to consciously tear this veil, thread by thread, right now. When you choose to meditate, when you start paying attention to the subtle signs and synchronicities in your life, when you follow your intuition even when it doesn't make logical sense, you begin to create small openings. The light of who you really are begins to shine through. You start to remember that you are not just this body. You are not just this name. You are not just the story. You are an eternal being of light. And even if you have forgotten for a while, even if you have doubted your own magnificence, your true essence has never changed. It has only been sleeping, waiting for the right moment to awaken. If you feel that you are truly ready to begin tearing that veil and start living the purpose your soul so carefully chose, then the next step is to actively commit to your own awakening. It's a daily practice of reprogramming your mind, raising your vibration, and accessing the incredible power that has been lying dormant within you. Many people have already started this journey and have completely transformed their lives. Now, it can be your turn. Stage 7. The leap of faith after crossing the veil of forgetfulness. After lovingly leaving behind the conscious memory of everything you so carefully planned, You arrive at the single most courageous moment of your soul's entire journey, birth. The Codex Animae describes this moment not as an arrival, but as the true leap of faith. You, an eternal, boundless consciousness full of infinite wisdom and love, willingly dive headfirst into the dense, heavy layers of physical existence. You do this with no guarantees, no certainties, and no conscious memories to guide you. All you have is pure trust. You have only the invisible, driving impulse of a being who knows, on the deepest level, that this life is the sacred path to expansion. This leap is perhaps the single greatest act of courage in all of existence. Think about it. You leave the limitless expanse of the infinite to confine yourself within a fragile and utterly vulnerable human body. You agree to accept the limitations of matter. You agree to accept pain, fear, and loss. You agree to completely forget the magnificent truth of who you are, all for the chance that, through each and every human experience, you might be able to remember it all over again. And so, you are born, small, helpless, and defenseless. You take your first breath. You let out your first cry. The physical world welcomes you, and it is both harsh and wonderful all at once. The feeling of warmth, the sensation of cold, the gentle touch of a hand, everything is brand new. But deep inside of you, something ancient remains, the spark of remembrance. In early childhood, the soul is still very closely connected to its origin. This is why small children often talk matter-of-factly about their other families from past lives, why they converse with invisible friends who are very real to them, and why they have dreams that seem like clear messages from other worlds. But over time, the veil of forgetfulness becomes denser. Society begins to shape you, to condition you, to teach you to forget those magical things and to accept only the real world. And yet, you never forget completely. In your quietest moments, in times of deep, emotional pain, or in moments of inexplicable joy, your soul whispers to you. It remembers the leap you took. It remembers why you came. And if you learn to listen, even if just for a fleeting moment, you will feel an overwhelming sense of peace. You will feel that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Every single challenge you face is a new chance to remember your strength. Every love you experience is an echo of that eternal, unconditional love from which you came. Every new beginning is a reminder that you were courageous enough to take the leap once. And you can be that courageous again, right now. Your birth was not just the beginning of your physical life. It was the beginning of the soul's greatest adventure, the quest to find its own light in the darkness. And now that you remember this, it's impossible to go back. Why was this hidden from us? Now that we've walked through this incredible journey, an inevitable question arises. It's a question that might be burning in your mind right now. If our souls go through this sacred process before we're born, if every life has a purpose, and if we are the true architects of our own existence, then why? Why were we taught to live like powerless victims? Why did we grow up believing we are small, limited, and fundamentally unworthy? The answer is both simple and brutal, because conscious, awakened souls are not easy to control. Since the dawn of civilization, those who held positions of power understood a very dangerous truth. A human being who remembers their true nature, their eternal, powerful, divine nature, does not accept being manipulated. They do not accept living in a constant state of fear. They do not accept the illusion that we are all separate from one another. Imagine a world, just for a moment, where every single person knew they were eternal, knew they chose to be here, knew they were a co-creator of their own reality. What would happen? Governments, religions, and massive institutions would lose their primary tool of control. The power they wield through fear, guilt, and punishment, tools that have been used for centuries to command the masses, would simply stop working. Their entire foundation would crumble. That is why this knowledge was hidden. It wasn't just misplaced. It was intentionally and systematically suppressed. It was distorted, discredited, and erased. The Codex Animae is just one example among countless forbidden texts and ancient manuscripts that spoke of the soul-less true journey. They were banned, they were burned, they were buried deep in history. The great masters and mystics who tried to remind humanity of its true origin were persecuted, ridiculed, and silenced. But truth has its own power. It cannot be buried forever. It survives in the margins of ancient books. It lives on in the cryptic messages of our dreams. It echoes in the quiet whispers of your own heart. You can feel it, can't you? That internal restlessness, that nagging feeling that there is so much more to life than what you've been told. That is your soul, trying to break through the wall of lies that was built around you. And the good news is, no one can stop your soul from awakening when it's ready. The power to remember who you are has always been and will always be inside of you. Knowing this, you now have a choice. You can try to forget what you've heard today and go back to sleep, just as those who build this system of forgetting want you to. Or you can choose to move forward, to break the old patterns, and to start living as the eternal, free, and conscious being you have always been. How to start remembering. Now that you know the truth was hidden, the final question is the most important one. How do you begin to truly remember? The Codex Animae says that the memory of the soul is never completely erased. It simply lies dormant, like a seed buried deep under the earth, waiting for the right conditions to finally sprout. And you can create those conditions. Remembering who you are doesn't usually happen in a single, magical flash of light. It is a process. It is a gradual reunion with the truth that has always been inside of you. And the more you align your life with certain practices, the easier it becomes to tear the veil and let your own light shine through. It all starts with silence. Our modern life is noisy, chaotic, and filled with endless distractions. This is intentional, because it is only in the silence that you can begin to hear the things you were forced to forget. Meditating, even for just 5 minutes a day, is like lighting a small lantern in the vast darkness of the forgotten consciousness. Every deep breath, every moment of quiet mindfulness, brings you closer to your true essence. Then, there are your dreams. The Codex reveals that during sleep, your soul is partially freed from the heavy limitations of the physical body. Lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences, recurring symbols and places, these are not random firings of the brain. They are fragments of memory. They are your soul's true origin, trying to send you a message. Do not ignore your dreams. Write them down. Reflect on them. Ask yourself, what is my soul trying to remind me of? Another powerful way is to follow your intuition. Logic and reason have been held up in the modern world as the only reliable guides. But your soul whispers through your intuition. It's that gut feeling, that sudden urge to change your route, to talk to a stranger, to start a new project for no apparent reason. If these impulses feel pure and aligned, they are not coincidences. They are memories of your soul's plan, unfolding in real time. And above all, remember this: you are not alone. The Council of Souls, your spiritual guides, your own higher self, they are all still here, right now, waiting patiently for you to simply make space for them. When you sincerely and humbly ask for help, for guidance, for a sign, the universe will always respond. Awakening is an act of supreme courage. It is choosing to step off the autopilot of your life. It is refusing to accept the narrative of fear, limitation, and guilt any longer. It is choosing every single day to remember, I am eternal. I am light. I am the creator of my reality. Do not wait for the world to change for you to begin. Do not wait for everything to be perfect to act. The world changes when you change. Your life blooms when you choose to bloom. And if something inside of you has resonated with everything you have heard here today, then know this for certain: your awakening has already begun.